So if someone's telling me, oh, the build out version 1 is going to take 8-9 months, then it's not small enough. You got too many bells and whistles, too many enhancements, right? You want to focus on core value, right?
You learned that somewhere. Did you make a mistake when you thought
Yes,
too big?
absolutely.
Talk about that.
Yeah, you bite off more than you can chew. Yeah. Absolutely.
Talk about that. What happened?
Ooh, which time, right? So
there it is.
It happens a lot, right? So scope creep, right?
What's happening, good people? Welcome to another episode of First Generation Wealth Builders. This one's going to be a little bit different, man. We're going to tech direction with my guy, Justin Cooke. What's happening, baby?
Hey, man, how you doing, man? Glad to be here.
I'm blessed, man. We teamed up the other day, man, really at Shan's White Affair.
Right,
It was cleaned up, really bumped shoulders, and really just got the vibing back and forth, man. I'm just like, what do you do? Where you from? You know what I'm saying? So, if you don't mind, man, tell the people who is Justin Cooke and what do you do?
Yeah, man. Originally from Detroit, Michigan. I own a product strategy consulting firm, right? So I work with startups and enterprise product teams to accelerate their business growth through user research, product design, and technology.
Got you. How long you been doing that, bro?
Ooh, in one way or another, maybe last 10, 15 years. Yeah.
Got you. So you a tech guy anyway.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What sparked your interest into tech, man?
Well, for selfish reasons, right? So I started off as on the design side, right? So I started off as a designer first, right?
You say designer, web designer?
Graphic design.
Graphic design,
Yeah,
okay.
graphic design. So I have an art degree, right?
Okay.
Started as a graphic designer first, kind of gravitated into web design, right? And then as I started getting more web design clients, then wanted to build those websites. So I got into web development that way.
Got you.
So once I started building websites, and then mobile apps started becoming more plentiful and frequent, right?
Got you.
Kind of just moved into that space as well, right? So it's been kind of a gradual evolution.
Got you. Like, that's a foreign language to me, boy. That's why you in this thing.
Right.
We're going to talk about it. So, like, for me, man, that's kind of crazy that you say that because my graphic designer back in the day, I used to DJ.
Okay.
And so, like, he would make flyers for my parties or, the promoters' parties. Then before you know it, in 2012, I started a company called Her Hair Company.
Okay.
And so it's a hair extension company. And I literally was like, yo, bro, I need you to make me a website. You know how to make websites? And he was transitioning in the same fashion as you were.
Right.
And so, but he didn't know how to deal with, like, e-commerce.
Yep.
That was foreign. And so, like, I was like, man, I pay you to figure it out. And so he knew WordPress at the time. And so he did a platform for me, not on Shopify, but BigCommerce.
Yep.
And then he used BigCommerce, and he charged me $700 to make it. Man, we ended up selling like $35 million in hair extensions.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good investment by you.
Hey, man, that's a great investment. Man, I still love you, brother. You like family, bro. But yeah, so like, I definitely understand your transition in that aspect. Now, when you talking about apps, though, that's a whole different ball game.
Correct.
What led you there? Like what was the moment that was like, okay, I need to learn how to make applications?
Right. That's where technology is going, right? The world is going in such a way where the value that's being provided and the problems that are being solved, more than likely now, are going to be solved through technology, right? A lot of industries that are usually manual and hand-to-hand are becoming contactless and digital and are having lots of automation involved, right? So with that, there are bigger problems to solve, more value to provide, right? And I always want to provide the most value possible, right?
Got you. So when you got like who needs an app?
Wow. So who needs an app, right? So you got to have a problem to solve, right? So I don't necessarily say this person needs an app, right? If you have a problem to solve, right, or a need that needs to be filled, right, then an application, a mobile app could be your solution, right? Some entrepreneurs who have audiences across different channels, right? They might have apparel, they might have a podcast, they might have a blog, right? Things of that nature. They might want to consolidate their community, right, through the use of a native application, right? That way their users don't have to go 3 different places. They can go to their app, download it, and they can kind of own that community, right? So that could be a solution for an entrepreneur.
Got you.
Yeah, but it's more about filling a need and solving a problem.
Got you, got you. Now, is your client base more is your business structure B2B or B2C?
Good question. Good question. A lot of my clients are B2B and SaaS companies. SaaS
Could you
being
explain? So B2B, I meant business to business.
that's correct.
Then business to consumer. What's SaaS though, brother?
Software as a service. So software as a service is like your business or any small business using Intuit, QuickBooks to do their taxes, right? That's a software as a service, or any kind of email marketing software you might use, right? That's software as a service.
Got you.
B2B, business to business would be, basically leveraging technology, right, to help another business, right? Kind of merging that together. And B2C obviously is like Uber or Lyft or Instacart, direct to consumer, right? So most of my clients are in the B2B space and SaaS space.
Got you, got you. So, when they come to you, what's like the onboarding like for developing the app? Is it different because of different problems that you got to solve? Or like, how's that work?
No, the process is really the same, right? I follow a pretty similar process no matter what the app is, right?
Okay.
And you mentioned app development. We want to start way before app development. App development is really, really expensive, right? And
Okay.
that's where a lot of startups go to die, right? So before we even get to app development, we want to validate that idea first, right? And we want to do that through user research. So that's the
Got you.
first step about it, right?
Got you. So when you talk, so what's that like? What kind of questions are we asking?
Sure.
Like, what's the onboarding for that like?
So yeah,
Because that I think we could identify, as people are listening, they could identify like, man, I need Justin.
right.
I need to
Right.
go through that process. So what's that like?
Right. So first thing is, does your idea solve a problem?
Mhm.
Right? Does your idea provide value? Right?
Mhm.
And we go like organic research to figure that out. Right? You can
Gotcha.
do surveys, right, to users. Right? I did some research for example, I did some research for a valet app. Right? They wanted to provide a digital solution for it to take valet payments and to facilitate the valet process. So I literally was outside of Phipps Mall, Lenox Mall, hanging out in the valet section, interviewing valets, interviewing people who are getting their car valeted, just learning about that experience, learning about the pain points within that. Right?
So you doing some footwork with it.
Absolutely.
Got you.
Absolutely.
Now,
Right.
like, let's twist that, right? You know what I mean? We talk about real estate here.
Mhm.
So, like, as an investor, I get leads. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? I could get leads from my VA in Philippines is making calls. She's calling sellers,
Mhm.
people that are like, pre-foreclosure, late on their payments, they're divorced, things of that nature. So she sets an appointment or she calls them and basically asks probing questions. Are you in a position where you want to sell? If
Mhm.
so, how fast? She's gauging motivation. She's also in a position where she's just really trying to understand a little bit more about the property. And then she's, how many bedrooms, baths you got? When's the last time you did repairs?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Any leads? Boom, boom, boom. What she then does, she tries to schedule me an appointment,
Mhm.
which typically we use a Calendly, right? Like, but that's a process. Like, is there something that just when I look at that is I have three different like softwares I have to use, like putting them all in one. A lot of people use Podio. You familiar with Podio?
No, I'm not.
So
Talk about
Podio is just
that.
the software that people use that like just has different applications that you bring them all in. It's kind of like
Gotcha.
Zapier.
Gotcha. Zapier. Yep.
Yeah, Zapier. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
I'm familiar with that.
And so like this app will zap that app.
Mhm.
And there's triggers. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Now that we say Zapier, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't use that as real estate investors, but could you create something like that that could assist the process of putting a seller into a database that connects with my calendar? Now I go visit the seller. I'm at the house to inspect it to see if it's a house that qualifies, and maybe we can negotiate if I could buy it. Right?
Mhm.
Are you able to create something to where, like, if the seller says yes, I'll sell it to you, I can send them a PDF to sign, a DocuSign or something?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Again, you're gonna have to leverage a lot of different services, right? And probably through an API, right?
What's the API?
Application programming interface, right? So that allows two different computers, two different softwares to speak to one another.
Understood.
Right.
That's like a Zap.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what that is,
Okay,
right?
got you.
Right. So through multiple APIs, yeah, you can create that custom experience. Now, I do caution about recreating the wheel, right? Because if there's solutions out there that already do that, maybe you could
Leverage
leverage
those.
those, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, when we talk about building an app for that, what's really the problem you're trying to solve, right? That current system, that ecosystem that you have doesn't solve, right? Let's find that value. Because again, if you're going to develop the app, it can get expensive, right? So you want to make sure that we are providing value.
Got you. Why is it so expensive, bro?
Well, developers are expensive, right? Why is it so expensive? It's just the market of developers, really, is what I would say, right? I mean, technology is expensive. It's cutting edge. Technology changes every 6 months, right? To stay up, to get a developer, right? And to maintain that, right? And to get a top tier and developer who knows how to develop an app for Android and iPhone and make it cross-functional and not have any bugs, and for that person to be up on all their certifications, they're investing a lot into their self, right? And that is the market for it right now. So you can go overseas, right, and outsource some of that development. My experience is that the quality also would deteriorate when you do so.
Why is that?
My experience with that is, well, education is a lot different.
Okay.
Sometimes there can be a language barrier as well. And I feel like my personal experience is you can build a lot of when you outsource some of that development, they build it for today, just to make it work for right now, versus building it so that it works and can evolve with me as my business grows, right? So I like to use the analogy that sometimes they'll build it with like duct tape and Band-Aids. Like they just want it to work today versus building it the right way that's going to support me going forward as I grow.
Got you. You need to be able to make version 0.1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right. You can't build it out of glue, right, and sticks, and think I can build on this foundation later.
I can dig it. Now, when someone is, like in this process of trying to manifest a solution for the problem that they have, which is your application, like how do you assess if it's a good fit? Because I just told you, and you literally just gave me like, hey, there's stuff out there for it now. You could probably sell yourself a couple more bucks and try to proprietize your own. You know what I mean? Like when that happens, what's the next step that you take in still staying in touch with that person? Because although they could use other stuff as we're evolving, Shopify had things that BigCommerce didn't have, and vice versa. But those companies are so accelerated that they're spying on each other, right?
Oh,
and
sure.
they're leveraging each other to grow.
For sure.
I say all that to say, what makes your company better than the next when creating software?
Right.
When you have a world of other people that make software. I could go Google right now, software development.
Right.
Where do you stand out? When you're in the field like that, like that.
Right. So what makes us stand apart is that we go on an evidence-based philosophy, evidence-based strategy.
Okay.
So we start with research first.
Okay.
And we work in iterative loops, right? So again, first thing we want to do is go through discovery, right? What is the idea? Does it have value, right? Is it worth your time and resources to invest in it?
Got you.
We do that through research, right? Really boots on the ground, surveys, landing pages, you name it, right? Once we figure out, yes, this is a problem for somebody that we can solve, then we want to match up the problem with the target audience.
Got you.
Right? So as we go through step by step, we're using research. So we're only going to go forward when we have facts to say, yes, this is a problem that needs to be solved. Then we find a target audience. We search that target audience. We find the right target audience for that right problem.
Gotcha.
Then we say, yes, this is evidence, right? Through research, we validate that,
Gotcha.
right? So next step after that is to validate the product. We build in a prototype of that product, low cost, not expensive at all.
You say low cost, give me a ballpark figure.
It could be free. It just depends on validating that, right? Like for example, right, UPS, right? I'll use another example, Airbnb. Airbnb has a great prototyping story, right? So what they did, I think they're in the DC area, and what Airbnb did, there was a conference going on in the area, and there was a shortage of hotels. So what they did, they just went on, I think it was Craigslist, I think they went on. They took photos of their apartment, put it up there, and says, hey, stay with us, and we'll give you breakfast as well. So Airbnb. People called and booked, right? Scheduled them. And they went out and bought air mattresses and fruit and whatnot and provided that service. That didn't cost them anything but air mattresses and breakfast. But they were able to validate that there is a market for lodging that does not include hotels and motels. You understand?
Yeah.
So You can be creative in your prototyping in that way, in validating the product. But again, that is research and those are facts. So once they validated that, yes, this is a service that we can monetize, now they feel more comfortable building out a website, advertising, right? So I've had success. I've validated that success. So now I feel more comfortable investing in a developer to build out the solution. That's what sets our company apart: an iterative, fact-based approach.
Got you. Now, I got one more example.
Yeah.
I was once working on a fit company, a workout company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I had influencers working out, things of that nature, and doing workout plans, yoga instructors, all the above. Like in a situation like that, that's a general problem that we have, right? We have a gym because we want to go work out, but some of us need trainers and things of that nature.
Right.
Would you say, there's a bunch of trainers? Is that an opportunity that you would build an app for if that person had community?
Like a trainer, for example?
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Yeah. If you have community, you can build an app for that. Right. However, Facebook does that. Right. So again, why do you want to own that community on your app?
Right?
Well,
because somebody might want to take yoga versus the yoga class versus the fit workout today.
Gotcha. Okay, so now your products. Now you're offering product. So not only do you have community, once you get them on the app and they're in part of that community, now you offer them products.
Correct.
Exactly. So yeah,
Gotcha.
that would be a great example.
But I guess it is.
Yeah, right. But yeah, if I'm signing up for courses there, absolutely, right. And then that same trainer could take it a step further. Hey, here's some recipes for some things you can get access to. I got some blogs. I got some videos here. Maybe you can watch these as well, right? Maybe there's go deeper into it. Maybe there's a tiered approach to the subscription, right? So there's a freemium, you get basic stuff, but then as you pay a higher subscription, you get access to more exclusive content, right? One-on-one personal training sessions, right? Like my own personal meal plan, whatever that might be, right? Those are ways to monetize your app, right? Kind of by tiering off the value that someone might get.
Got you. Now that you say that though, like you got Facebook, such a large platform.
Yeah.
You can make it private and create different pages within
Mhm.
private groups within that. So like you have that, and then you create an app for what I just said. Look, working out. We're gonna stick with that. What's the benefit of the app, like right then, versus having it on Facebook when Facebook and there's so many different things are leveraging their platform to have those messaging,
Right.
meaning like, hey, Eric put a new video. You'll see it on your timeline if you're part of the group.
Right. That's true.
But over here, though, with the app, I can send out a message and then to say, hey, Eric's going to launch his new video today at 6 p.m. What is there a difference in the exclusivity, a larger impact or retention, customer lifetime with you? Like, you know what I mean? You going,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, there is so for someone to download your app, there's a high level of engagement, right? They're deepening their relationship with you if they're going to actually download an app for you. Okay. So the difference between Facebook, me using Facebook, right, and an app, right, also offering products is that I get to, instead of, so like, you're on my Facebook group, right? I'm a trainer, right? I launched a video. I got to go to YouTube to watch that video. I'm on Facebook though, but I got to go to YouTube to watch the video. You're selling me shirts and things. I got to go to your website to buy that, right? You're sending me off to different places to accomplish my goal. Versus in an app, you can provide all of that within the app. And the app can give you push notifications, right? The notifications that we get when someone liked your photo, boom, you get a push notification. I might not care that someone liked my photo, but for some reason, the mentality of having a notification, human beings, it bugs us. We have to look at that. You get a notification, you're going to check it eventually, right? So being able to ping and message your user base, right? Bring them into your own universe, which is in your app. They can have their community, chat with one another, and you can deliver all the products and the value that you already were other place else, but do it all in one place. That would be the value that I see in your scenario.
Got you. And I feel like I didn't ask that question like I was supposed to, but you got to it now.
Okay.
So you say it's a higher level of engagement. I could see that because they got to go to the Apple store, they got to download it, they got to log in. But I feel like that, when I was asking my question, I feel like that customer is going to be more loyal. When I shop Express, You know, I was thinking about going to the whiteboard. I'm like logging into the app versus the website because I got my points. I got everything. I got, I just got my setup, and it already kind of like, is formed for me.
That's true. Customizations, right? So that's a big thing, right? So especially with apps now, the customer experience is going to be a very key differentiator with apps and design as it is. Like we're used to having really good experiences, and customizing that experience is a part of it, right? If I can customize, the look of my app, I can go light mode, I can go dark mode, I got my points, I can put my profile picture up, I can customize that experience. That endears me to that application. That endears me to that experience because it's more my own. Right? So I want to check it. I want to be more a part of that.
Now, marketing the app, because a lot of people, if you was a workout guy, you had a website, then you have to push people to the app. Like how difficult can that be for some?
It can be difficult
because you said this is where a lot of businesses die.
No, in the development piece, So that can be difficult, and that's where again we're talking about what's the value that your app provides. Because if I am on Facebook, so say I've been on your in your trainer universe for quite some time, right? And I'm on your Facebook group, I got a YouTube channel. I'm getting the value, right? And I'm going to other places, but it doesn't really bug me that much. What extra are you going to give me to get me on the app, right? So that's what you kind of got to figure out. To get people to go from your universe now into an app, you got to give them an incentive to do so, right? Gotcha. You have to give them an incentive to do so. I'm working with a company called Freeman Capital, right? I'm product lead at Freeman Capital. And what they provide is we're the first Black-owned automated wealth management firm, right? Also regulated by the SEC.
Gotcha.
Right? And we're providing financial advice to underserved communities, right? They get to talk regularly with the financial planner. They get to have wealth actions, which is like basically wealth to-dos, right? To help them build their net worth, track their net worth, etc. We're doing all of that without an app, right? 200, 300 something users of that right now have a subscription, right?
Gotcha.
We want to launch an app for that to make it easier for them to manage it, right? Well, so what's the added benefit? The added benefit was that they got to be in a Freeman Capital community, in a Freeman Capital universe. They got an added benefit. So they didn't have to go to 3 to 4 different places, and they could chat and schedule their meetings, and we gave them visualizations of their finances, right?
Gotcha.
You had to beef it up a little bit.
No, I get it.
However, technically, I don't want to go too technical, but
it's all good, man. Let's get it in.
Technically, the users could be different, right? For example, I'm getting financial advice again, right? I'm a 60-year-old person, let's just say, right? Talking to somebody on the phone, getting financial advice, and going through virtual meetings for financial advice is one thing, which is normal for me. I feel great. I just might not be the kind of person to download an app. I just might not be that person. You know what I mean?
Makes
So
sense.
I just might not cross over, right? But now that I have an app, but as a business owner, now that you have an app, you can market that app, and people who value an app will come.
Gotcha.
Right?
So that's the way things are going.
Right.
It's almost like, they may not want to do it today, but they will have to do it sooner or later.
Yeah, they will. But you're also going to balance the people that might not cross over with the people now who are totally excited that you got an app and are coming to you just for your app. You know what I'm saying? So the drop-off could be some drop-off, but don't look at the drop-off, people not crossing over. Look at the wins from the fact that the new people who are going to come over.
Got you. I never really thought about it like that. That's a good something.
If they love your brand,
think about that.
If they love your brand, they're going to transition over, right? So like Freeman Capital with financial advice, they're going to cross over eventually. It's going to take up some time, right? But we want them to come over, but we're thinking about scaling to millions, right? The hundreds who might not cross over, we're not worried about that. We're worried about now that we have an app, now we can scale that thing to thousands, millions. And some people are going to come because they are attracted to having it on an app.
Got you. Tell me about some of the results that like one of your dope clients had.
Right. Dope clients. So
you don't have to use the name,
right.
For proprietary reasons. But if you can, even more credibility towards you.
Right, right. So I'll say 2, right? So for some reason or another, I do a lot of rescue jobs, right? Which means that, because the process I spoke of, doing research first and figuring out the idea, a lot of people don't do that, right? They jump, I got an idea, hire a developer. So they spend 5 figures, right? Trying to get this app built, and they don't produce anything. And now they're like, man, the dream's almost dead. The bank account's almost empty. What do I do? Right. So this one company, they're in the space, I'd say Ivita Financial. They're in the space of like healthcare and technology.
Okay.
They were basically in danger of not launching their MVP, their minimum viable product, their version 1, right? They spent tons of money, right? Didn't have a product, nothing was delivered, right? And they were losing money. Okay. So we came in from a product strategy standpoint, whipped everything into shape, figured out the requirements that are needed to launch specifically those requirements, realigned their roadmap, right? Put some product design in place to greater the experience that the product that the user was having, and put a strict timeline, like week to week value that we want to provide to reach that finish line.
Got you.
We were able to get them launched. So I went with them. This is like last year sometime. So I started working with them in January. By March or April, we had launched and got them turned around. Right. So now they're able to generate revenue. Right. That's the point. Generate some revenue.
Got you. And you credit that to the app.
Yeah, I credit that to the process.
Okay.
The process. It's about, so again, it's products. It's the process of how we launch an app.
Gotcha.
Right. So they already had the idea, right? They just didn't know how to execute it. They didn't know how to get from A to Z and get out of their own way.
You were going to give me a second one. What was the second one?
Yeah. So the other one was Freeman Capital.
Gotcha.
Right. So Freeman Capital had a couple pivots there. We had one product first, and we pivoted to another. As of recently, right now, we just closed our Series A investment round. Right. So that's a really big deal for us at this point in time. Right. And again, that was a bit of a rescue job.
For those who don't know, what's a Series A?
Right. So that's your investment. Right. So you go like friends and family, Series A, B, C, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So we passed our friends and family round of investment. Now we're on into private investment, private equity. Right.
Gotcha.
So that's a pretty big deal. Right. It allows us to scale and accelerate our growth. Right.
Gotcha.
So being on that team to help get them from MVP all the way to a Series A private equity round is a major accomplishment for the company.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, you're here in Atlanta. How big is your team?
2 to 10, right? So
Gotcha.
I outsource and build out the team as needed for the project.
Got you. So it's basically depending on how many hands on deck you need for
Correct.
this project.
If I need a researcher, if I need a front-end developer, then I bring those resources in specific for that product. Every startup company and what they're going through is a little bit different, right? They might need different things, so I just augment that team as needed.
Got you. How many projects at a time do you typically keep going?
Oh, right. So I want to give my all, right? So no more than 5 at a time. I want to be able to give my undivided attention to all these projects, all the companies that I work with. It's not about getting out the door. It's about providing value. Like I want them to succeed. I want them to be successful. I want their value to be brought, right?
In the process, typically, you said 3 to 4 months
to get them from
onboarding to launch.
Ooh, so that could vary as well. So from onboarding, mean like idea, from the first good idea?
Yes.
So I want to target, right? So you should be able to go from, launch is something different, but I want to say from idea to moving to development should take you no more than 60 days.
Okay.
So to be able to validate the idea, validate the market and the product, which is building that prototype, should take you no more than 60 days.
Got you. And the development depends on everything that the company needs.
That's correct. But
got you.
It does, right? But I would say this though: when we talk about releasing your version 1, your MVP, you want to think in weeks, not months. So if someone's telling me, to build out version 1 is going to take 8-9 months, then it's not small enough. You got too many bells and whistles, too many enhancements, right? You want to focus on core value, right?
You learned that somewhere. Did you make a mistake where you thought it was too big?
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
Yeah, you bite off more than you can chew. Yeah. Absolutely.
Talk about that. What happened?
Ooh, which time, right? So
there it is.
It happens a lot, right? So scope creep, right? So you start out with an app, right? And it grows. It'd be nice if it does this. It'd be nice if it has video. It'd be nice if we can share this. And it grows too big and you waste money. And startup companies ended up spiraling because they're building features and enhancements without even launching the app and making money yet, right? So you got to keep it lean, right? Your version 1 should be about core value only. Bells and whistles are not allowed, right? If you have an app that's for high school basketball coaches to chat with one another, that's all it should do. They shouldn't be able to share videos, have a blog, or see each other's schedules or video share. None of that. Just chat. Start with that first. And then after you launch it and the coaches are talking, they'll tell you what else they need. Hey, it'd be great to have the show our schedules with one another. Okay, we can add that then, right?
I see where you're going with them. You got the a la carte special coming after
Yeah,
that.
right. But it's evidence based, right? At that point,
Got you.
that's your market, right?
Yeah, your avatar will tell you exactly like what you need too, though.
That's exactly right. You
Yeah.
know, you launch it and you learn from it, right? I launched the app to my high school basketball coaches or the trainers, whatever, and they say, hey, I really want to know, I really want basketball drills. Can you put that in there? And if enough people say that that's something that they want, then you go ahead and introduce that into the app as an enhancement.
Got you. Man, that's huge, man. As far as like building your business and growing it out, like, how are you getting in front of other businesses?
Right. A lot of my businesses referral, word of mouth.
Got you.
Right. From the sorry about that.
You good.
From working with different companies. I'm on IG, I'm on all social media channels, and also run some Facebook ads as well.
Well, we here, man. What's your IG, bro?
Yeah. IG is applunch.justin. Applunch.justin.
Got you. All right.
Yeah.
Where else can they contact you with get into hold with you, especially LinkedIn? Because we're talking to business owners.
Oh, LinkedIn, yeah,
That's
yeah.
an opportunity.
So Justin L. Cooke on LinkedIn, right?
Okay,
Justin L. Cooke on LinkedIn, and website is applunch.com. Applunch.com.
That's a great name right there, bro. I'm surprised that's available.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Applunch.com. I feel like that's the Google search itself, right?
Yeah, right. No, matter of fact, applunchbootcamp.com. My
There
apologies.
you go. I'm glad
My
that
bad.
I reviewed that.
I'm sorry, now you said that. Yeah, applunchbootcamp.com.
Got you,
Yeah.
man.
And App Launch Bootcamp, sorry, that's the online school that I have right now, right? So
Okay.
I just recently launched an online school to
Boom.
work with early stage startup founders that walks them through step by step through the entire startup journey, right? So we talk about validating the idea, the market, prototyping, building a team, building out a pitch deck, you name it, right? Anything that's going to get you from idea to revenue. I have an online course, comprehensive course that walks you through that step by step.
Got you. How is it a course? Do you have support calls? What's going on with it? Like,
So what do you mean support call?
so sometimes some people have courses and they'll do like a once a week support call with everybody in
Oh, yeah. Like
in
a
the
coaching
group.
call. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
sorry.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
call
Yeah,
them
yeah.
support calls, but coaching calls.
Yep, we got coaching calls, QA calls for them to
Gotcha.
log in. They got one-on-one coaching with me as well.
Oh, you do 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Saucy. All right. Yeah.
Absolutely, right? And then they get the coaching calls as well. And in addition to that, some real great value is the digital resource library, right? So I have templates, I have you name it.
So when you say template, you're talking about an app template.
I have templates for not necessarily an app template,
Okay.
right? Some of them could be like there are some design templates, absolutely,
Okay, cool.
right?
Cool.
But so we talk about user research, templates on how to complete user research,
Got you.
right? Templates on how to create your survey,
Okay, I'm tracking
right?
now.
Email marketing, right? How are you going to do that from an email marketing standpoint? Marketing landing pages that you want to put together for your app, right? Templates for that, right? Any of the resources that I use in my day-to-day, I provide access to my students for that.
Gotcha.
And I update that regularly. It's basically it's your cheat sheet. It's your jump start.
Lifetime membership?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. What's the cost to get in?
Oh, do I say it right now?
Hey, if you're not ready for this, cool. Make sure to hit the link, man. We're gonna put the link below for that you could actually tap into it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool,
So, yeah.
cool. So through that, what is the goal for the somebody who enters that? What's your goal for the student or the mentee or the leader that finishes that the boot camp?
Idea to revenue, right? So I want to take all the students so my goal is for them to make revenue off of their app. Not only launch the app, because that's just victory number one, but to actually begin to generate revenue off that app and then scale that app.
Fair enough.
So that's the goal, generate revenue.
Got you, man. Now, as far as like really like building community and stuff like that, I think that what's worked for me in the past has been able to have masterminds. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I've learned from them, and I get to tap in with the people.
Okay.
So like you have your MVP.
Right.
I've done a beta, type mastermind. Therefore, I make sure I could execute it to the level that I liked, and I also got the feedback to even improve the next ones.
Got you.
So something that I did that really worked with me when I was putting out my products, stuff like that. Now I got to crisscross and just, talk to you about some other stuff,
Sure.
man.
Yeah, let's do
You know what I mean? As I must here at First Generation Wealth Builders, man. What's your relationship with real estate?
Yeah, awesome. So I'm a homeowner,
All
right?
right, dope,
You know,
dope. There it is.
I am on my third home that I've owned.
Okay.
It's my primary residence.
No doubt.
So that's my relationship with it. I don't currently invest,
Okay.
although I have a desire to.
Okay.
Right.
Got you.
On a residential side, as far as multifamily housing,
Okay.
and also on the commercial side. Right.
Oh, what's your interest on the commercial side?
Even either an event space is what I would like to do. It's event space and or like suites, right, to be able to lease those or rent those out to other businesses.
Got you. So back in Indianapolis, I have a commercial building.
Okay.
And so it was an office suites building. And then we just kind of gutted it out, redone it.
Okay.
The first floor, I have a salon.
Okay. Yeah.
Then upstairs, I house my office for my hair company and my real estate.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely, in the area that I'm in, it is there's a mix of like business and what do you call it? And home ownership. Therefore, you have to get a variance for the property. That means a variance is the use of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if I ever were to leave, I would either break it up into offices again and or Airbnb it. I would just create. Yeah. So like the opportunity is crazy when you do that. But in office spaces, there's so much money to be made.
Is it? Okay.
So because this is what you gotta know. Commercial real estate is not evaluated by comps. It's evaluated by how much money the building brings in.
Okay.
Therefore,
Tell me more.
Therefore, imagine that you had an office building and you bought it for $300,000. Okay. You renovated it for $50,000, but you have 10 rooms, and every room now is bringing in, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month.
Okay. All right.
The evaluation is called a cap rate, but it's basically the return on investment, the cash on cash return.
Okay.
What you would do is evaluate how much cash that property brings in per year versus what you put down to get it. And depending on what that cap rate is, it will determine the value of the building. So I've been in a position where I bought a building for $400,000. Today it's worth $900,000.
Right.
Just because I doubled the income that the building was generating.
Got you.
And doing that with commercial buildings is a great way to appreciate the value on the building.
Wow.
Because you think about this area, there's not a lot.
So So I'm hearing you right. It's not dependent upon what's around it.
It's not. This building could look like that building. Right. They're both commercial buildings. It's based on the revenue that building A brings in.
So they could be next door to one another, be similar structures, but because one is generating more revenue than the other, it's evaluated at a higher rate.
We're in Atlanta. So let's say you got the Brave stadiums.
Okay. Yeah.
The old one's not being used. One is being used. The other one up north is being used, or wherever that area is called.
The Battery.
Yeah, the Battery. Yeah. Now that one has probably like a 15 or 20x evaluation versus the one not being used.
Right.
Because there's no revenue being made, so we're just evaluating what the concrete and everything costs. But if it made revenue, you got to think about it like this: if it made revenue and you're buying it, you're buying a turnkey property.
Right.
Therefore, it has a higher value.
Right.
And that's how commercial real estate works.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's definitely an avenue for you. Last but not least, man, I'm gonna need you to tap in with us, man. I teach people how to get free rental properties, man.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And it's something that, like as you're, building cash and revenue for you and your business, and as you're growing as an individual, I mean, you can't work for forever.
Right.
So it's a situation to where I say everybody needs a five rental property package as a starter pack, man, to retirement.
So I was about to ask, right? So if I wanted to get into multifamily, right? What are some steps for me to get into the multifamily space?
The first thing you got to do is find a lender that will lend to multifamily. So multifamily, you can get a multi-unit 4 and under and still be a residential.
Gotcha.
Anything 5 and over will be commercial lender. Okay. So, depending on when you mean multifamily, what do you mean?
Residential housing is what I was thinking of.
Okay,
like
so
apartments or
whatever that. It could be an apartment if it's apartments 5 and up.
Right.
You need to get a commercial lender.
Gotcha.
That will lend to commercial construction. So, what you also want to ask them is, do they lend towards the rehab? So not just acquisition. You need acquisition and rehab lending.
Right.
In most cases, for commercial of that size, you're typically going to be doing about 70%.
Got you. So once I get the home or the
building
structure, now have some funds.
The next thing you're gonna need is the architect, and you're gonna need to be able to get permits.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So the architect, just because, in order for the lender to give you the right loan, he has to understand what he's lending for. So you might have to get the structural drawings of what you're going to do if you have to take down walls.
Gotcha.
If you don't have to take down walls and you're just doing a rehab, you don't need that. You just need the permits to get it done.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So like, if you're not a contractor, you have to be able to have a contractor on your team that could pull permits.
Gotcha.
So that's thing number 2, because you get the money, you can close the deal, but you have to have the permit to be able to execute what you want to do.
Gotcha.
So you got to get the permits with the city. Then last but not least, man, like, you just have to have all your trades, as far as contractors, and then you put them on trades. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Then you put them on the schedule, man.
That sounds similar to so I did my first home was a foreclosure that I had to rehab. Sounds like a 2 or 3K loan. At least that was, from my experience, of what it was.
So they lent you the money for the rehab.
Yeah, exactly.
So a construction loan does the same thing.
Yeah. So I bought the home. They lent me the money for the home, and then they lent me another 50, 60K to finish out the updates from the foreclosure.
Same process. You just got to recycle it. Except for you're not living in it, so you're not going to be able to put 3.5% down.
Right.
And on 203K, you could put 3% down. In this process, for commercial, 5 units or more, you're going to have to put 20 to 30% down.
Okay.
Now, if you did single family, you may be able to get a lender that's only going to make you put 10% down. They'll cover the 90.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Just because that's a little bit easier evaluation for them. It's an easier process. Therefore, they're willing to risk more. When it's a higher risk, more work, they're gonna increase your whatever you put in.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Therefore, they can leverage the risk to accordingly to the property. Now, if you're new at it, it'll be a little bit harder. But you could always joint venture with somebody that's an experienced investor and just create some type of dividend breakthrough. Dividend break. How you get. If you get this for me, I'll give you 30%.
Gotcha.
I'll take 70, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? And leverage the percentages like that. But I would say go through the residential process at least 2 or 3 more times, though.
Okay.
Just because you want to get comfortable with the process of starting the project.
Gotcha.
You don't want to, that's just like, it's like almost like building stamina, right? You know what I mean? When you first go to the gym, you're only gonna be able to get it a few more times. If you got this vision of you benching 300, but you know what I'm saying, in your mind you can and you will.
Yeah.
But I think you gotta go through the reps and getting comfortable on how to manage the team and the process.
Gotcha.
Then it's just rinse and recycle and do more. If they gotta put AC units into 20 units, you've done it 2 or 3 times. Right. Single family, now you just gotta do it 20 times.
It's all about process.
Yeah. But if you don't know how to do that and don't know how to evaluate the process good, what if you had somebody install 20 units incorrectly? Right? So that's what I would recommend, starting off, getting a couple single family, going through the process. Gotcha. That gives you credibility going to the lender as an experienced investor. Now they're going to feel more confident giving you that loan.
Gotcha. Just don't jump out the gate with the multifamily. Okay.
Don't let me discourage you.
But I get what you're saying, like work that muscle.
Yes.
Build that muscle of going through that whole process.
No doubt,
right?
no doubt.
Yeah,
now, some people will tell you different, and I'll give you the contrast.
Yeah.
You're going to spend the same amount of money and time, the same amount of time basically acquiring a multi-unit.
Right.
So somebody say, hey, if you're going to spend the money, spend the money and the time, you might as well go big.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of people may make some mistakes they cannot bounce back from, right away from.
Gotcha.
You can bounce back from a single family.
That
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just my take. It's perspective. Right. It's not the right way, or the wrong way. It's just perspective.
No, I get it. You're managing risk.
Yeah, there it is.
You know what I mean? So
there
to be successful with anything, you gotta, you calculated risk.
Yes, every project is going to be an opportunity for you to learn. No project is the same. There's always going to be some BS that you did not see coming.
Right.
So I'd rather you get used to that. I also get thick-skinned. Versus going to a 20 unit and be like, bruh, he didn't do the electrical right on this building.
Yeah. We got similar. So when we're going to development, right, for apps, plan for the F up. It's coming. You just don't know when.
Right. Right. No doubt.
Yeah.
Man, before we get out of here, I would love for you to, tell the people again where they could go access the boot camp
Yeah, absolutely.
and how they could connect with you one more time, brother.
Yeah, absolutely right. So on IG, it's applaunched.justin. I help early stage tech startups generate idea to revenue on their mobile apps in 60 days, right? So as applaunched.justin, or check out the website. It's applaunchdbootcamp.com.
Boom, boom. What's your LinkedIn and your IG joint, man?
IG, I just did IG.
Oh, okay. I missed it. My bad.
Applaunched.justin is the IG.
Okay.
And my LinkedIn is just Justin L. Cook.
That's my bad. I'm in here tripping, brother.
You all right, bro?
I'm just making sure you get it in.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, so again, man, if you're interested in investing into real estate, man, make sure to check out the mentorshipcalls.com. Basically, every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., we're talking wholesale, we're talking flips, deal analysis, acquisition strategies, and everything else real estate, man. Tap in. It's a great community for you to network with other investors and build. You might find your business partner there. Also, don't forget to tell a friend, man. Like, share, and subscribe. As a matter of fact, do it right now. Like, share, and subscribe. Give me a comment. Give me some feedback. You know what I'm saying? And let's tap in, man. Until next time.